in the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues.
Why, hello there, everybody. We got a crowded little screen today because there's 3 co-hosts with me to talk about the news. We've got, let's go straight down. We've got Thanos Copter right below, Akxion Figs below there, and at the bottom, but that's not really saying anything about his quality, Oz. What's going on, guys?
Drinking coffee.
Like trying to see if I can afford the next year.
Right. Thanos has got a second going. Yep, I might be able to swing January. Not sure about February.
How about you, Oz? How you doing down there?
Man, I thought we had room to breathe, and then the Four Horsemen did what they do and showed me, no, you don't. No, you don't. So I'm going to make an official announcement here now. I got to say, I've been thinking it over the last 48 hours, and there is exactly a handful of Masters of the Universe Origins figures that I still want to add to my collection. And after that, it's just Four Horsemen from now on.
Oh, that's pretty big.
I got to rein it in somewhere, right? And
Sure.
Dedicate those funds. I got to be very select. And with what they keep putting out, there's not a lot of room for variation to that plan.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, the Horsemen really, if you think about, like, Ed was joking, Thanos, you were joking and saying, I don't know if I'm going to afford the next year, but let's be real for a second. What they announced, that's 2025, right? So
yeah. Well, I'll pay for it.
Right? They've already got me by the cojones for 2024 with Necronominus, but
right. So it's like, they are absolutely just killing it when it comes to releasing beautiful figures like throughout. Ed and I were talking about this the other day when we were sort of doing the watch along with G-Con.
That's exactly it now, Burke. It's like it was, one series of mythics every year. Now it's mythics, cosmics, figura, then another thing of mythics, and maybe we'll throw in a little spattering of cosmics, and then another figura for you.
Yeah, and so that's huge, Oz. I understand it. Like, how can one do it? Really, it's there's just a lot of good when it comes to toys right now. So that's huge. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, thank you again, folks, for being here. It's perfect. We've got the 4 of us during our talk about the Four Horsemen. Let me actually rearrange ourselves. We'll do like Thanos snap. No, that didn't work out. I'm gonna try it. How's it go? Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So,
which Four Horsemen am I? I want to be Pestilence.
Okay, Pestilence. Thanos, your call. What are you?
I go with Death. I feel like Death. I might as well be Death.
Oz? Well, Thanos stole it. I'm always Death. But I suppose I could be War or Famine because I ate all the food.
I'll be Famine. Here we go. I'll carb starve and everything else starve, and I'll make you all just starve. All right. So let's do this as the Four Horsemen. I put myself at the bottom because we're going to say hello to folks, and then, the loser at the bottom gets covered. Hey, what's going on, Pains? Good to see you. Nolan is here. Hello. Perfect. That let me kind of hide and adjust some things. Allison is here. Let's get ready to rumble. Sunday. Sorry for the delay, folks. I know I mentioned 3:30. I was lagging, had a busy morning, had an awesome time with Allison on her channel, but that required some technical adjustments. And so the technical readjustment kind of took longer than I had planned. Carol, happy birthday to you. It's a wonderful birthday weekend for you. Let's just come back to Aaron for a second and just remember, if it makes you happy, do it. Brian Brink, what's going on, man? Please chime in. Please tell us about all the amazing things that we missed. Because as Oz pointed out, yeah, you are absolutely lucky. And again, more thinking things, as long as no one else gets hurt.
It's a good stipulation.
Let's see. We've got Akxion in the house. I keep wanting to do that accent thing, man. Sorry. We've got Black.
Akxion.
And I think we are ready to go. Let's go ahead and talk all things Four Horsemen, and let's go ahead and start off. Oh, actually, before we do that, just a reminder, I will get to it. So as it's going to say, like right here in a little bit, sort of over there, if you go to bit.ly/brick something news, capital B, capital S, capital news, because it's the BS news, you'll find all the links from past shows, and eventually you'll see the one from today. I'm hoping actually tonight to have that done. So that'll happen, and you'll also sort of see a QR code pop up every now and then, because I just want to make sure that I highlight all the folks that are giving us great information. I want to thank folks in advance for all the coverage of the con and being willing to sort of put it out in the internet, and I'm going to sort of take that as an assumption that it's okay to share here. And also, Adam from Highly Articulated, who usually streams on Sunday, wasn't able to do it because he was super busy being one of the many Spiro folks to this weekend. And he was super gracious to be like, hey, let me take pictures and share them today. So this is officially the Sad Boy Four Horsemen coverage of Legion's Con for all of us who weren't able to attend. Thanos knows it because we've done Sad Boy PowerCon coverage in the past. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's just start off with some Four Horsemen goodness. This is a little older, but just to set the tone, this is McCann Animation, or McCanimation actually, doing this awesome animation with Legion's figures. These things are like straight up Harryhausen anyways, right? So it's nice to sort of see that stop animation thing going on. I just, I'm always intrigued by creative, talented people. No real need to say much about this. Just woo, neat. With that,
total Jason in the Argonaut feels
film and 2 hours worth of work.
Yes, exactly. That was a ton of work. So, speaking of a ton of work, Four Horsemen are putting in work this weekend. Right. This is essentially Legion's weekend, right? And it starts off the Wednesday before the actual con, and then they go and do intern for a day, where folks who are lucky enough to win a raffle get to hang out with the studio at the studio and kind of see the behind the scenes. This is the Four Horsemen on their IG, just sort of posting before the sort of like whirlwind weekend, just some of the things that they're getting ready. And folks at the con were able to actually see the Poxus Wave stuff that will be hopefully in our hands in the next couple of months. And, they're just sort of teasing all the different things that they're going to bring to the con. Again, just setting the stage. You got the Wall Tour 2-pack in boxes. Man, I'm sorry. That's just rad. That's so cool. There's the lanyard for the weekend. And what was that? All right. That said, intern for a day. So, Brian Brink, were you by any chance an intern for the day over at Four Horsemen Studios? But this was the class that day. All right, we got to figure this out, the four of us, because at some point we got to stop being sad boys and we need to actually try to make it to the con. and maybe, just maybe, we might actually get to be one of these interns. What do you think of what you sort of? I don't know if you're familiar with this process or whatever, but just hear anything, things you're curious about.
I've heard people talk about it, but I haven't really looked into it specifically.
So Sean and Jesse were talking about this last year, right around this time when we started doing Legion's class, actually, and how Sean went in for the raffle and unfortunately was not picked to do intern for a day. And then there was a trivia night that was done, and Sean actually won through some trivia a pass to be included in intern for a day. So he got to go anyway. And I have to tell you, it is probably one of the coolest things that if you're a fan, I have ever heard of. I mean, even if you're not a fan, it's still really neat insight into everything that they're doing, kind of like the process that they go through. You get to meet all the people involved. There's different workshops that they go through. And as you can see, right in that second row back there is our good friend Curtis Ackerman, who's also a co-host of Legion's class as an intern this year. So big shout out and kudos to him for being lucky enough to have been involved in this. And I definitely hope that maybe next year I get to win on this an amazing experience.
Let's make
when do
a pact.
they do the sign up thing for that?
I don't remember when it was. Do you happen to know, Oz, or anyone? It was a couple months back. Yeah, it was a couple months back. I don't even think it was as early as summer. I want to say it was in the fall, but I'm not sure. So I don't know. This is the short answer. But you do get a +1. So, let's make a pact that we leave that as an option for any of us. Because I'll tell you right now, my wife ain't interested at all. But actually, that's how Dorklair got to go. He got to be Jared Toy Bros +1. So here you got some other folks. You mentioned Curtis here, David Williams. Who else are folks that I recognize? Maybe not a whole lot. There's Walter's son.
As Brian has just stated in the chat here, it hasn't come back, but you got Simple Tricks and Nonsense right up in the front row. Cosplayers extraordinaire, known for a lot of their known for a lot of their Masters of the Universe cosplays, but they also do, if you've seen, some pretty epic Legions cosplays this year, which was awesome.
Yeah, she was Alithia, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Her whole process into building that armor was something to behold.
That's awesome. And does that make him? Sorry, does that make him? Who was it? Was it?
He was a skeleton builder the one day, just a random, skeleton builder. But
was he Red Death? Was he Mask of the Red Death too?
He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. Was he also the alien illustration, or was that somebody else? That might have been somebody else.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Anyways, we'll get there. Thanks for that, Brian. There's a ton of really just talented folks in the community, and it's fun, man. You get a con and you get to folks just come out, and so that's going to be kind of the theme. We'll get to we'll zoom through actually the official stuff. That yes, it is true that the other day, what is it, Friday, that Ed and I streamed for 6 hours. Yeah, and we were just covering what they were doing. They did a 5-hour show, G-Con. So after intern for a day on Wednesday, am I getting this messed up? Sorry, on Thursday, intern for a day. Friday is G-Con, where they essentially unveil the next big wave. And then Saturday and Sunday is Legion's Con proper. So yes, that is true, Fat Red Foo, and hello to you. But there's a lot more to cover. Now that the weekend's over, we got to sort of see what everyone's done. So I hear you, Punk, but for me, it was a 3-day weekend. So here we are. And unfortunately, Brian was not there. But yes, we'll keep trying for the next day.
That's right.
And who else did I miss who's come through? John is here. Good to see you. Skyfall is here. Great to see you. Again, awesome to see you, Lawrence. Thank you for hanging out. Rob Zamora, shouting out Man Bun Kurt, Uncle Curtis, and Kirby. Yeah. She makes for a mighty fine goblin.
Yep.
And of course, like all I've heard this weekend from people that are there are essentially, man, everybody's so nice. Everybody's so cool. So that's great.
That was definitely the impression I got from last year's Legions Con. That was back when I was just starting to get into this stuff. So I didn't really know all too much about it. And Jesse and Sean were gracious enough to come in and really just kind of inform all of us about what it was like. And that was when they devised that they were going to get me to Legions Con one way or another this year. Unfortunately, there were outside factors that did not allow that, because I would have been there this weekend. Oops. But instead, I got to hang out with you guys all weekend, and you know what? That was
consolation
great.
prize.
Right. We all got to commiserate and celebrate the amazingness that, you know, we had to experience from afar.
Yeah. Well, it was still cool. And just to answer some of the questions, Rob, it's a raffle. You enter and it's at random. And then there's a second round, usually when people sort of are offered the thing and then they have an opportunity to commit. And some people say, we can't do it. And so that's actually how Jared and Toy Bro was saying that's how he was able to get it as well. And, you know, I want to say, and I've said this before, Toy Bro and Dorkler went together. And I just named them in particular because they've both been really inspirational for the channel. And I always say, like, when I do unboxing, is like, if you want to see a real review of this thing I'm about to show, go check them out. Because those folks, they have great taste in toys, and they really take the toys through their paces a lot more in a thorough way than I can. And check out Lawrence for all your awesome Hasbro stuff, your NECA stuff. Like, just, you get the idea. That said, what's up, Black Knight? Hella dope. Let me catch anybody else who's joining us. Ted, Brick, I just got your letter. Oh, you're all good. Cool. You got a Brick sticker. Yay. Yep. There you go. Oh, you can't see that, but there it is. If you can see me down here hiding at the bottom.
That's what
Headaches.
I was doing.
Headaches 79. Oh, thanks, man. Oh, there you go. There were some cool there were some cool tools this weekend. Cool tools. I think you're a cool tool, Headache. And then let's see who else is here. All right. I think we're good. Oh, no. Man, what's up? Greetings from Chicago. Good to see you. All right. Moving on. So this is Intern for a Day. Let me just show you some of the things. You get a pin. So just some sort of what Oz was taking you through. Here you are with Eric Treadaway doing like a sculpting sample. Can you imagine that? Like, hey, here's like the brain behind a lot of the things that we end up seeing, sort of taking you through the sculpting process. Here's Nate Barch talking to you about artwork and packaging. And man, I'm just like drooling a little about the idea.
Right?
You can see there.
Snacks too. Look at that.
Look, world-class Oreos, blonde Oreos. No, wait, are those? Yes, those are Girl Scout cookies. Here we've got him showing you cosmic packaging, right? And sort of like how that's all done. And man, that's just really cool.
It is.
What do we got going on over here? A little bit more. Oh, photos. This is Trevor kind of taking folks through the photo process. Cool to see the studio. Like literally you're walking through the studio, learning about what people do. There's, is it Sherry or Cherie? Sorry. One of the lead painter, I believe, who does some amazing work. Either of you know?
I believe it's Sherry, but okay. I could be wrong.
I was saying Sherry the other day and hoped that was right. But she's fantastic, like just such a talented painter. And again, you get to sort of hear her talk about her process, get to see her workspace. I love looking at people's workspaces, man. Like what figures do they got? What little odds and ends do they got? all the paints on her desk. This is also the paint, and I forget his name. He was up there during G-Con as well, and so I'm so sorry. Boo, fake fan. Again,
No,
I think
not
of
a fake fan.
Look at this workspace, man. To think of like one of the most creative and prolific studios and being able to step in there and sort of meet everybody, see what they do. Oh, there's Nolan from Nolan Collects. There's Jeremy Gerard, who like was definitely a rock star this weekend and every Legion's Con weekend, and just really doing a great job of being sort of the brand ambassador. Here is from C. Jessam's account. So sorry, from CJ's account. C. Jessam being the company that does the soft goods. Now for Four Horsemen, it was his first time actually being able to step in and meet people in person, which is kind of wild.
Right.
Like working with these folks, and even him brought his family up from Canada. They got to check out the place, and again taking pictures with everybody. This is Chris doing his. I think this is his official D13 outfit. I believe that's a resurrected Jesus outfit. Yeah, maybe
that's what it's supposed to be. I thought, like, you know, that classic biblical characterization of it.
So you've got the crew there. Awesome. For him to meet everybody. And again, I said I'd zoom. So let's just zoom through this before we get to talk more about the like cool stuff. This is from Nolan Collects again. Speaking of Chicago, just, you know, taking pictures of what was in the studio. So you're seeing, these are things that most of us will not see for a little bit, but these are the samples of the Poxus wave here. You've got this one and these of things that are becoming with evil magic effects.
I should have got some of those magic effects. Think about it now.
You still can.
Some are still available.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll find them in retailers for sure. But weren't you just saying you're trying to figure out how you're going to afford this year?
I know. I'm stupid.
You are not alone in that stupidity, friend. Man, these figures look so good. I've been waiting for Poxus, but this is the life of a Mythic Legions fan, right? You're like, oh my God, we're freaking out about G-Con and all the great things that are going to come in 2025 when right around the corner. Oh man, remember a couple years back when I ordered these, right? Over a year? Because this is like last year, this time it was Necronominus. This is before Necronominus. So
yeah, this was before the All-Stars 5 Plus, if I remember correctly.
Yep. And people will say, you know, I get it. People will be like, man, what's with this pre-order thing? You sit around, you wait. Flip side, there's a constant flow of great things. And so I get it if you're like, man, I got to wait a year. But if you ordered these things, I mean, you're really not waiting a whole lot.
Once you get involved in the rotation, it's not that long, right? But you got to start somewhere. So,
which is the dangerous part.
Right. Pre-ordering these now through, again, official authorized retailers, because you can still pre-order a lot of this stuff.
Yep.
You can go do that now. These will be showing up in another couple of months. For those of you who joined in around the time that we started blowing up, for those of you who bought into our shillness starting last year around this time, probably pre-ordered some Necronominus, and that'll start rolling out soon later next year. And it'll just keep on flowing from there, folks. So there's no reason not to jump in now with some of these. I mean, Arakagor here himself is going to find a way to my shelf. I've got the green one. I need the blue one.
Oh, you've got the green version of this, or
this
you've got
the
with a more sci-fi armor.
Right.
And there it is, man. Oh,
jeez.
Can you imagine that? Any of you who are like, well, there are some people who are like sort of convinced that Four Horsemen could, you know, kind of have these figures be on hand. I know some of us are in here. We've talked about that. Have wished that they could just sort of like have some of these figures add in like basically forever, right? Have them be evergreen. But here's the issue, right? This is their workspace. Every time there's a wave, like they just don't have a massive warehouse. And these are not like, if you figure you're doing fulfillment on like figures forever, you've got to have them out of the box and you're sorting orders out. And this way you're sort of like, okay, wave by wave, handling orders out the door. We're done, moving on to the next thing. But
they have enough retailers to handle
totally
the longevity of it, right?
Right. And
whether they have
point
it
now,
the retailer has it, it's going to sell out. So
right.
I do think there are some characters that probably should stick around, like the horsemen and their horses, the faction leaders. Like, I think it'd be smart to always have those guys kind of in a rotation of production.
Yes, and they kind of do in a way, right? Like we're seeing coming up now, we're seeing Scapular version 2. We're seeing Atlas version 2. So one of those things that I do like about this is we are getting re-releases of some of these faction leaders, and I'm sure we're going to see version 2 of other characters like that as time goes on. So, it's never one of those things where we're going to run out. Now, other characters, I think, definitely need to be kind of as limited as they are. As much as I like the Motu homages, I think they need to make sure that those are that limited kind of release that they do with those, just because they're playing in hot water with that, in some ways. But then, again, you'll see like they'll go through and they tend to do a lot of version 2s, as I've seen over this past year now. And that excites me. The only one we don't get like really version 2s of is stuff like Figure Obscura. But then even in a way we do, because we'll get color variants.
Yep. And I love the sentiment. I do. I love the idea that key characters with a world like this is not like, it's a huge world. I mean, even if you do faction leaders, you're talking 6 that you sort of get. Anyway, I love the idea. But it's Four Horsemen. They've got clearly over here, they've got Jesus on their side. So maybe they can figure out a way. So let's quickly go over what they went over at G-Con, but I do want to acknowledge, where was it? It was Michael. You asked, how do you get a sticker? And I just put in the chat, you don't buy a sticker. Just email me at that email address and I got you, just for watching and for being supportive, man. I'm super early in this and I'm just super happy that people are really, really like taking the time to hang out and check out what's going on. So of course, that's what I've been trying to tell folks. I just need your address. So please,
Lawrence doesn't deserve a sticker.
Lawrence deserves a sticker. Because I know he knows how to do it. He'll put it on a skate deck. He'll slap it on the wall. He knows what to do with it. So
he'll have it on a bass guitar that he doesn't play.
Is there a height requirement though? Because otherwise, Lawrence.
Wow, guys! Wow,
we love Lawrence.
We do, and this is how he knows it.
Yep, that's how he knows it.
Okay. On that note, let's talk really quickly about let's zoom through the figures, because again, I would say check out Akxion Figs and my expert coverage, not expert coverage. We sat and watched the G-Con 5-hour stream as they were revealing it. And I didn't put on the audio. I wanted folks to watch Four Horsemen streams. But if you want to see a 40-some-year-old man turn into a 12-year-old child, seeing the most amazing toys he's ever seen, and how he reacts to that, go ahead and check that out. So really quick, these are the figures that came. Huh? Well, I'm just going to go
hearing a very familiar alarm. I thought, I thought my clock went
off. My alarm just went off. I forgot I had said it the other night.
Take your meds, kids. Okay, so here are this is what was it? Broader. I love it. It's like Broader of Bjorngar. You can read through stuff, and then you can see the alternate heads with the alternate colored beard, the amazing, in my opinion, pauldrons with that sort of like thatched or whatever's going on with that thing. Very cool. That's the first of the new wave of figures. Again, these are the Rising Suns wave that is now up for pre-sale at Store Horsemen and will be available direct from the Four Horsemen up until January something.
14th.
And we'll get to that in January 14th. And just showing you the second figure. This was Manisha, right? Yeah, Manisha Cinderhorn, with cool 2 alt heads that you'll see here that you won't see in some of the pictures that we saw earlier, because apparently they just sent this thing to this paint master, this figure, prototype figure, to Trevor to take pictures of on Monday. So talk about like down to the wire, because by Thursday they were revealing this stuff. Here is the 2-pack of the dwarves. Go ahead. Do you have something?
I was going to say, he always seems to get the stuff like right before they're about to announce it, without much time at all to really be able to do a whole lot. So the fact that what he gets, and mind you, most of the time it's samples and it can't be posed as well as the actual articulated figures can be. The fact that he gets such epic pictures done with them.
Hell yes. Because again, you're scared you're going to break it. You can only pose them up so much, and like for these are no problem, right? Well, this less so, but this is like let's make them stand. Let's do some turnarounds, and then you've got to start switching out parts, which I know can be, which I assume can be nerve-wracking, and I know only because he said it several times. He being Trevor from the studio. I love this. I don't know that I noticed this, Ed. I was probably distracted, but that is straight up Tolkien story.
That was the first picture we saw, Brick. Remember? Then we were wondering if the cloak actually came with it, because they didn't show any other pictures of it. But then we saw it sitting on the table.
I honestly don't remember. I remember seeing it on the table and seeing it like it stand on its own. So I was afraid, because it was so tiny, that it was going to be some McFarlane plastic, and I don't know why I thought that, but
that's it, right? You were saying that it looked like McFarlane, just a rubbery cape,
because it was like tiny in the little toner. But this is fantastic. Again, soft goods from CJSM. I don't know why I doubted them. I'm like, why would they go back to that? And these are all the parts from the awesome 2-pack. First woman dwarf that we are getting. She looks awesome. I love the face on this. And again, you can watch that coverage from Friday, because I was going goo goo gaga over these figures. I should wait. What was their name? I didn't even catch that. Sorry. They are named, are they not?
Yeah.
Yes, both the male and the female have names,
but they're not listed here. Am I missing? They may be, and I'm sorry.
When I saw it somewhere. There it is. Chris Snapbeard and Dagna Stormforger.
Oh, because there you then it names. So are these others? I didn't know these others. Yeah, whatever. Yes, I'll take what Oz said. And then over here we've got Dispatar.
That was their names. Maybe I misread it wrong.
Which Patar?
Dispatar.
This. Whew. So again, one of the more like creature-y things. And at first I was kind of like, wait, what's going on? And had to process this to kind of see, oh, okay, it's got these kind of like new creature hands. And these arms that look kind of like Sphexian little hands, which I assumed, not totally sure if they were. Feet are cool. Definitely, I've heard you talk about it last night, Oz, too. Kind of more of an Eastern, maybe Persian influence on the art direction. This whole back piece, they were talking about how when Ed and I were looking at this, we were like, oh, my initial thought was this is Imbira Jimjira, I think, from the tale from Cosmic, and Eric Treadaway was like, that was originally the plan, and then there was an issue with how something got changed at the factory, and when they changed it, they hadn't remembered that they were planning on reusing that part. So this piece actually on the back is completely new.
I just kind of realized that was a back piece that the arms attached to. So if you wanted to, you could give the scorpion tail and the other arms to someone else. That's cool. I didn't notice that before. For some reason, I was thinking it was like part of them.
Oh, yeah. It probably connects right into that that little rectangular back thing, and then you got the pauldrons there. I love that the pauldrons are, like we said, we'd zoom through, but very crustacean kind of thing, or insect like. Again, just cool so far. If you think about the variety you've seen like a bigger sort of Norse influence thing, a dwarf 2-pack. You've getting this creature. And I loved how that sort of rolled out that day, just sort of seeing all these different characters, cool little torch, accessories. These things are stocked. And again, everything I've shown you so far were the $37 basic price point. Then you've got the weapons pack. Ed and I were kind of like stuck. We were both saying like, no, they don't really do weapons pack. And we were totally wrong. Because I look back at it, Ed, and it's like, no, they actually have been doing weapons packs for a while. I just didn't catch it. But they're doing some cool things with like this new shield with a sort of removable centerpiece that you can replace with different emblems. The modularity is on point. Their system is being built out with new pieces that you can sort of switch in and switch out, which, the Lego fan in me is like,
all the stuff they're adding for the belt is just really, really cool extras too.
Yep. Yeah, like these little pieces that you add on.
Yeah.
What you got, us?
So it was really bugging me about the Dwarven 2-pack because, again, I thought they were named and those were the ones in there. But now that I'm going back and rereading the information about the Dwarven 2-pack, so it's basically an entire clan of dwarves. And with the 2-pack, they expect you to use the different heads and armor pieces to make army build dwarves and make different kinds out of what they have available and previous. So the ones there are just randomly named, random dwarf names. And there you go.
Yep. Thank you for that, Kirby and us, for clarifying. We wouldn't be a respectable news show unless we got the information 100%.
All right. Well, correct. I'm going to name them Flint Fireforge because I love that name.
And the idea that continuing the tradition of the Legion builder in the line, very cool. And if I had limitless funds, I would love to build like a dwarven sort of little realm out of these figs. But and keep that in mind as we kind of go through some of the customs, because there's not a shortage of heads that you can find to replace these two heads from the talented customizers. I like to call this guy Billy Bob Thornton Dwarf, and I haven't really thought about her, but
That's Fiona from Shrek.
It is. That's right. Fiona from correct. You're right. All right. So, you can arm them up. Let's keep going through Minotaur. It wouldn't be a wave without a variety of scales. So this is the ogre scale character. In this wave, Giant Minotaur, the first ever Giant Minotaur, takes advantage of some of the parts that have come out from the Nate Barch designed ogre builder thing. I forget what the accessory pack. And then some other new pieces from newer figures. But man, it's cool. I've often remarked how I've just somehow ended up having way too many ogre scale things, and it's kind of becoming a little comical. Like before it was like spice of life variety. And now it's like I've said before, it feels like it's a whole other figure line, right? Of just like giant figures. So if I do go all in, I may have a Minotaur figure for sale. So then
I'll remember that, Brick.
Yes, remember that. Then we got into this guy. What is it? The Yoshinai Kari, which is very Oni influenced kind of creature with this more Chinese influenced armor, though. Largely based on this it's basically the parts from Sun Wukong for the most part, right? The armor, body stuff with some cool ogreish feet. But overall, a really cool looking figure. I don't know, definitely just adding more variety.
They did a good job, though, adding that Asian flair from Wukong and taking it from that realm to like how it blend into mythic realm, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Yes.
It's great. Yeah, the way that they've done.
I was just
Go for it, Oz.
saying, like, I love the fact that they've jumped on these parts and immediately are putting them right back out there, right? You know, we were all amazed when we were getting our Sun Wukongs just at all the new tooling and everything that was involved with this figure, because they hadn't really done this. So their turnaround speed to immediately start putting figures back in people's hands, knowing that those parts were pretty in demand. You know, like at first, like I know there was a couple people who may not have been like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and do this.
Yep.
Like, or, you know, jumping right in on the bandwagon. But then very quickly, I saw a lot of people like, ooh, I want these parts. And here we go. We have them again. And good on them.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, you know, definitely more of the like sort of gunmetal steel kind of variety versus the more gold, more golden stuff. But still, these parts are fantastic and they look really good on this guy. I love the head. It's weird. Like some of these, I just love the entire figure. And some of these I'm just like, oh, it kills me because I'm like excited over one or two parts. So this one,
that's
not
my favorite one.
Yeah, this is not one or two parts. This is like every single thing about nieve, which is fun because it's Spanish for snow. And I'm sure ultimately with its Latin roots probably is snow in multiple languages. But I like your read too, Nev Campbell. That worked too, Ed. So this is your favorite Thanos. ¿Por qué? Why?
She's just like looks really good. Usually I don't go for the humanoid figures, but like the detail in her hair, her face sculpt, the eyes, like
yeah. You were saying you tend to go more for the creatures often, right? And kind of like
this is the first wave where I'm like breaking that. Like I want the dwarves, I want Atlas, I want her, I want the bear. Like the bear is a creature, but like I'm going for more of the humanoid ones this time around.
Yep, I'm with you.
Don't do.
The shield with the arrows is a really awesome accessory.
Yeah, super cool.
Absolutely. Look at those. You got something, Oz?
I was just going to say, it's another great idea that they're incorporating ways to, you know, they realize a lot of us do like kind of dios and displays. And if you really want to make them look like they've been in a battle, this is a great way to put like, you know, more war-torn kind of look to the whole scenario. And it gets me really excited to see what more they're going to be doing.
Nolan, not sure which one. Clarify which of these you wanted in red and blue. But speaking of red and blue, I love that like the arrow on these things. It's like they're being attacked by both the Bloods and the Crips.
And the neutrals, since there's light ones.
Right.
You got the white ones in there too, so you got some neutrals.
They're getting attacked by America.
Pretty sure that's the nihilists, right? Yeah.
Everybody in America hates California, so we're just attacking. That's what it is.
Yeah. What's going on, folks? Thank you for dropping in, Joe. And yo. All about the villains. Let's see. Ooh. So then we started getting into the 2.0 version figures of yeah, sorry, I don't know, I'm not sure what you're laughing at, but
I was laughing at Oz's reaction. He was over there doing cheers when you brought this guy up.
Like getting up in his chair, getting excited.
The skeletons. You weren't you didn't get your fill with the entire Necronominus wave. No, this guy is in particular pretty unique, has some unique parts. Even version 1.0, I really love that head. But so take it away, Skeletons. What was exciting about Scapular V2, Oz?
Well, one of the big things here, again, this goes back to like those homage, the Masters Universe homage figures, because Scapular was what they used for Keltis. And Keltis is the Skeletor homage. So this is where you get some new parts that if you had the original scapular figure, you just kind of had like a little bit of a repainted Celtus in a lot of ways. This, to me, it kind of redefines him as his own being, not just like a more paint variant, but making him fully his own character more so here. And I love it. I love everything, like the different armor details that we've got here. Again, it's got more of that like Persian, Southern Asia look to it that I'm really, really digging with this. Like going through the Middle East into that. This look right here, giving him this whole dual identity of this is what he uses when he's walking around, so people aren't freaked out by a skeleton talking to them. And all these nice little new pieces and gifts within here. Like, that's a lot of great stuff they're packing in. And I love that new shield too.
Yeah, that shield is fantastic. Gifts indeed. Yeah, the paint job on that shield, the sort of like the edging of it. They've used this little bamboo container elsewhere. He's got a blowgun. So the pauldrons, look at like given the skeleton personality, right? He's just so into like lavish
the way they have
ornate things.
That skull head with the hood hanging down the side of it, though, is like just perfectly sculpted. I mean, it looks like an actual
100%
hanging down the side of the skull.
Yep, crazy. Absolutely, it's so good. Look at all that sort of like new cracks and stuff in his skull.
And he's got so much like heraldry too, like the little like face underneath his chin, and then on the gauntlet.
Yep.
Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's totally. They're real good about character, right? Character design and development, communicating who this character is by just sort of the way they look. The whole idea that he's a little bit vain, a little bit into the world, a little bit into luxury, and so he, of course, rides a freaking unicorn that has like some of the most beautiful. What was it again? Tack and Bard. That we learned from Lucha Johnny, courtesy of his years of reading bestiary books from Dungeons and Dragons. He's learned a little bit about horses. The way that this tail is. But yeah, again, we're zooming through this because, we're already into this stream, but there's so much to cover beyond this wave. Obviously, this was huge. So again, this was just the beginning. There was the whole intern for a day. And then there was just like, here's a whole new wave for people to talk about. This being the head of the other faction, House of the Noble Bear, another 2.0 figure, a second version of this character is what that means in Legion speak. Any quick bites at this before I move to the next?
He's cool, but when you see him on the bear, it's like, oh my God, okay, I get it now.
Well, again, for me, this is Atlas. He is their regular version of the Adamon, which is again tribute to Prince Adam and He-Man. And they just, again, we're getting faction leaders second go around. And they've given them more unique tooling, lots of new stuff. Now you can have your scapular and Atlas summer collection, and now we're getting the winter collection, because they got to dress up for the different seasons, right?
Yeah, you got to be half naked in the snow. But yes, Atlas, not Atticus. That's Atticus Finch. Different type of hero, but yes. And I have to say, I wish I knew about Mythic Legions earlier. I'm into military figures, and the Templars would have been a great addition to my military headcanon. Yeah, stay tuned. There's going to be some figures coming out, some more Templars that are going to be coming out relatively soon that you'll be able to pick up at retailers. There was a question about price. So the first couple of figs that we showed you, besides the 2-pack, are standard figs at $37 on pre-order through the Four Horsemen. Through retailers after January 12th, they'll go up on the authorized retailers, and they'll be about $44, $45. Right. And then right now on pre-order, I was just going to say the deluxe figures like Scapular and Atlas is also a deluxe figure, right?
Yes.
Those are 48.
He's 37.
Oh, so he's a 37 figure.
Yeah, 37.
Scapular with all of his soft goods and everything else is $48. So
Scapular is the only deluxe in the line, right? In this wave.
There's the 2-pack, there's him, and then C's. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
no, that's true.
One's a little more pricey. And then
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Which one is a little more pricey, did you say?
The ogre.
The ogre scale, the Minotaur.
Oh,
He's
yes.
Gregarian.
Ogres are always, more. Well, let's move on because this is where I pretty much like exploded during the stream. Wow, those words together are awkward. But yeah, we got a bear. Man, and so we got this like cool shot of this bear, and then you get here and the shadow on those eyes was just perfect. Well done, Trevor. Sold.
The head sculpt for both the heads is just absolutely perfect.
Both of them are fantastic.
Perfect bear.
Right? Oh, man.
Bear is 85?
85. I've got Store Horsemen up over here just so I can see pricing for everybody.
Great.
And then his tack and bard is great too. It's got chain, collar, and
I love
I said we need more chain in the line, and here it is.
Yeah, that's right. And then you see, I love the articulation points because it gives it that sort of like bear, like ruffled skin kind of thing. Very cool. And then of course the thing can stand up, and they don't show it here, but we'll be able to see that in a little bit. But they made it so that it can stand. And I'll just end it because I do want to move through to the actual floor stuff. In the last hour. So this is $550 all in for all of these, and of course there's a healthy shipping fee. So heads up, it does say that the all-in price is $40 less than if you were to buy all of these figures piece by piece, and you get a free bonus dwarf head that will be unique to this set, and then they're going to recolor that head and sell them separately later through the retailers. You get
special meaning behind the head.
Yes, there is. It is based on a fan who unfortunately passed away during COVID. They made a custom tribute figure for him, and that figure, they being the Four Horsemen, actually created a figure that they gave to the fan's family. And they, love the head, and other folks love the head, so they figured they would turn that head into an actual release. So that's what you're getting here. I said January 12th earlier. It's January 14th, 11 p.m. Eastern. That's when it ends. So you have between now and then to order. I was talking with a friend who was really concerned about putting in their order right away so they don't miss it, because they thought that it was it would sell out. It doesn't sell out. Like, this is how this company does it. And sort of helps figure out their numbers through pre-orders. Like not it's not a limited run. It's tell us how many we should make as the initial number, and then we'll figure out with retailers how many more we make, and they probably make a little bit more from there for conventions and to have in stock, and they've got a finite number after that. So between now and January 14th, make your decision. After that, you want to go through the retailer. It just depends on how many of those sell, and they generally don't sell out super fast either. So
I was going to say, we do have some insight from a couple of the retailers who are here in the chat tonight. Aaron, Ted, how much input do you guys have on how much of these you want to order? Do you base it off of your pre-orders, or do you put in I want this much? If you could let us know. I think you guys may have told us before in a different stream, but
first off, we know they want the bear, and
who doesn't want the bear? Everybody wants a damn bear.
Yeah.
And yes, stickers were sent to you all to share, but we can figure that out too. And he said that's a loaded question, but of course it's so. No need to unload, Ted. But if you'd like, questions in there.
So, do you mind if I drop the Store Horseman link into the chat?
No, for sure. Do you have a wrench?
I believe I do. We'll see if it shows up.
Yeah,
or it just shows up on my channel.
Oh, right. Well, we'll figure that out. Store.
It's there.
Okay, great. So, take a look around. All those pictures are there, but let's go ahead and move on because that was great. And that's the thing about Legions Con. You've got Thursday, intern for a day. You've got Friday, like, hey, G-Con, let's tell you about the money that you're not going to have. And then, by the way, come Saturday and Sunday, come actually spend your money on the amazing actual con where there's all sorts of you can buy from the Four Horsemen, but you get to like shop and look around at all the cool stuff that this like thriving community with its cottage industry of accessory designers, custom head designers, custom part designers, custom soft good designers. You've got folks selling complete custom figures. And then you've got like the adjacent other indie brands that are there that we're going to take a look at. So this was just the hotel setup as you're walking in, treated to some awesome banners by Nate Barch. But wait, there's more. So they're like, great, here's a new figure. But also they surprised fans with the release of the availability of a whole new, not sort of announced figure, what they're calling the Valiant Knight. And what's special about this one is that this features some of the new cuts in the arms and wrists near the joints and legs that allow for a little bit more movement and articulation than was available from the older figures, particularly the Knights, right? Because they're showing us these. And I'm just sort of including them here. They made an announcement on their Instagram, sort of showing you what they look like. And again, these were available for people to bring home, and you start to see the posing up in ways that like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, they do seem a little like they move a little. Ooh, look at them taking the knee. The big deal about this, if you're familiar with Legion's figures, is the ability to sort of cross the arms to be able to hold that hilt was not necessarily something you could achieve in the older stuff. And you got happy fans. But I did want to share a couple of folks who got their hands on this thing and took pictures. I've been loving this River Swift Customs. Man, like just sitting, having this knight in full armor, chilling there, arms crossed, feet, crisscross, applesauce, yoga style. I thought this was fantastic. And I'm just going to show pictures of other folks, and you can kind of see where they come from here. But if anybody else has anything to say over it, please do.
This would be a perfect figure for Four Horsemen to launch mass retail.
And just so you know, on that note, this is obviously a different head, a custom head that they put on this. But it shows you the body is that Valiant Knight figure to show you that. Why do you think this would be a good one for mass retail? What you're thinking on that?
Because it's a standard knight, and it's it's you can't take like some of the characters like Atlas and have them on shelves all the time. But a standard knight, you could have a black and a red version, or a black and a chrome and a red version, blue knights, and people will buy them just to army build, and just because every kid loves to have a knight.
Yep. Well, yeah, a lot of kids for sure. Yeah. No, I hear you. That this was like a standard toy for many folks, right? It was back in the day. It was like cowboys, knights. Remember,
even,
like little ones.
Even when Schleich was busy, they sold a lot of their knights. Yep.
Yeah, like that little kid in older reference. What was that? I See Dead People.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he would pose up those little things and hang out with dead people. But here you see sort of, again, CB Make. I was trying to highlight who this was from, just so people could see.
Yep.
Again, all the same figure, Fake Eyes 22. You can see a lot of folks are posting this figure, kind of taking it through its paces, showing what you can do. This was the exclusive for Saturday.
Vermilion 2.
Yep.
So is he available to purchase somewhere now?
He will be. I don't know if it's up
you are
now on Store.
Well, no, I didn't see him up there, but there is supposed to be like a brief in-stock sale after Legion's Con, from what I've heard. But I will say, if you are looking, there are several people that I know who have picked up extra to help the community out.
Well, I think he was supposed to go when the reinforcements hits the store too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll do like a retail version that'll be slightly different. Kind of like the Unknown one that they did, where he was missing like some of the pieces that the con exclusive had.
I was talking about the Valiant Knight. I thought they were putting
Valiant
the
Knight.
reinforcement.
Aaron just said that from Black Knight from Helidope just said that it will go up on sale on their site when the reinforcements Wave 2 drop.
Yep. Hey, Ken. Go ahead, Thanos. Sorry.
The new articulation scheme, like when Oz was talking about switching completely to legions, like if all their figures get to where they can move like this and they're still compatible, like popping and swapping, I could totally see phasing out a lot of other toy lines.
Yeah. This pose right here is incredible. I mean, just awesome.
That thing is that's a oh gosh, what is it called? The Inquisitor. That's totally, it reminds me like waiting for an Inquisitor thing. So hey, let's like we're sitting here we're chilling away. Let's get some other thoughts about it, because as you mentioned earlier, you were asking about how one decides what you're going to order, etc. From a retailer perspective. Ted, one half of Helidope, is saying that's a loaded question that we showed earlier. And then Black Knight responds with, yes, very loaded. And to unload completely, Adam Highly Articulated jump in and just straight up says, and again, not affiliated with Helidope, to be clear, but this is Adam's perspective, straight up saying 4-H is not kind to retailers. And to be specific, he tries to name, he says, huge minimums. So you're ordering a lot, right? It's not, so we were kind of, I think, Oz, you were kind of asking, like, how do you decide what you're going to order? There are minimums. So in many ways, you're not really deciding.
Right. How much you can carry.
Yeah. And then, and you don't get to pick and choose. I don't know what that means in terms of maybe particular figures. So maybe you can elaborate.
Yeah, you probably buy the wave. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. And you're buying bulk amounts of the wave, not particular figures that will sell and other ones may not.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be a problem with this wave at all.
I don't think so either.
I don't see it happening.
And then you've got Black Knight jumping in to clarify from his. I just want to make sure we're all clear. He's not necessarily co-signing some of the things that were said by Adam, but he's saying only part from his perspective where they aren't kind to retailers is at cons. And he's gone on record saying that about how awkward it was at PowerCon, right? When you're trying to unload Four Horsemen figures, but they're selling it at their con prices, which are cheaper than the retailer prices. Totally get that. They did lower the minimum, starting on the Ox Crew wave for Cosmic Legion, so it's a little bit easier. So good to know.
The thing is, though, like it was tough to see some of the retailers like Helidope, right, and that at PowerCon have to compete. But the guys that were there that were like vendors that have like the vintage toy stores and stuff, they had some of the Legions for 3 times as much as Mythic had them sitting on their table for, because they've been out for a year or two, right?
Right. Yep. Especially again, there's some older figures that just aren't available anymore. The retailers themselves aren't necessarily going to have them, but like those indie vendors that have picked up stock here and there may still have some of those figures. And sometimes you can find a good deal. Other times they are marked up astronomically, which again kind of bums out for the retailer because they don't necessarily have that figure to sell.
Yeah, and sort of on the note of, again, from a retailer perspective, Ted names like, hey, it's actually, from their perspective, 4-H is one of their favorites to deal with, primarily because they provide us more value over other companies. If we sell out of 4-H, we can do a lot more for ourselves than with other lines. So there's they get to keep more, essentially, which is nice. And I've heard some things about other brands. And, I mean, that's the challenge, right, of being a retailer. You've got to figure all that and manage all of that. But that's nice to hear. At least there's that piece, right? Larger margins with that. But back to this figure, highly articulated, Adam, who's been in the Legions game for a while, is just, naming like this is absolutely a massive upgrade to the Mythic articulation, which is great because I think that's been one of the largest critiques of these figures from a lot of people. Ed and I kind of talked about this last time, so I'll just quickly say I get the critique. On the other hand, I would also say in terms of sculpt, paint, it's miles above most of the other lines that are out there. So it's a balancing act. It's a trade, it's a trade-off.
I like to see that they're making like progress in articulation though, while still keeping them looking amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, what's up, Briscoe 1234? Thanks for joining. And Ken, we're doing a little bit of that wrap up. We've got Fan again. What's going on? Great to see you. One turntable and a microphone. And okay. So there were a couple of questions, but we're gonna move if that's okay. This is awesome. Right. Again, that was a surprise figure. Let's get. Oh, this is a little bit later. I'm gonna pause on the N.E.W.S and let's go here. So speaking highly articulated, who's in the chat? Who, if you didn't catch it earlier, he's sitting listening to this while he opens up his toys because he had a nice haul. And actually, I think some of it is in these photos. So he just sent me a ton of photos from the floor, and I do want to highlight, this is that wave that we were looking at. They got to see those figures that were being shown at G-Con in the middle of in the show, right? Sort of on display in this nice Dio, which I think was made by Duarte, but not totally sure.
Their Dios and shows is amazing. The ones they had at PowerCon were just mind blowing. I mean,
and I believe those were done by Duarte Studios. But there's that bear standing up, man. Like, they do it right. They're like, we're gonna make a bear. It's gonna look great in this position, but we got to give it this position as well, and give it those swiping claws, and like that's right. You can tell they take pride in their work, and they're like, we're gonna put out top product that we love, and I appreciate that. And you can kind of all see the figures all posed up next to one another. There's the Minotaur back there for scale. Oops. I'm just going to sort of cycle through this. Feel free to talk through anything that grabs you as I kind of just give you a feast for the eyes via Adam.
About that bear standing up on its hind legs too. One of the things I thought was so great was, I believe Thanos, you sent the picture of when they showed it off at the table during the reveal, standing next to one of their trolls. And with the stature of the troll, the bear on his hind legs stands just slightly taller than a troll. But again, it's due to the stance and the posture of a troll, where that bear's like just fully erect. Snicker, snicker, tee hee, tee hee.
She looks amazing. That face is just fantastic.
I really like her.
Look at the bannered flag on the pike too.
Yep. They also showed next to it Cosmics and their display, and I'll kind of cycle through it. These are definitely figures. These are figures that have been around. They didn't have any of the Ox crew in this immediate display, but there was a separate display of those. I'll get back to some of the shots of the Rising Suns wave that, again, is available right now for pre-order at Four Horsemen. There's Manisha. Love that weapon. Just cool stuff. This is the bits from the Necronominus wave.
Right.
So, just cool for folks at the show to be able to see this stuff in person. Here's the Ox crew that went up for sale a little bit ago. God, I don't know about you guys, but part of me is like, I'm thinking about what I've ordered and what's coming. I was like getting that anxiety.
Is the Ox crew the one that had the generator and the cooler?
It is.
Yeah, it's right down there in the middle there.
Okay.
Again, love that.
Cooler. It's a cooler. It's space beer.
Definitely a cooler.
Yeah, there's the Jenny. There's the cooler. Put them together. You got a little
what are
swamp
you gonna
cooler.
Do?
That's right.
You sit around and drink.
You got a life-sized, 3 life-sized figures, right? So, Zirian Spire. This is an ogre, orc. There's a better name for it, and I'm blanking.
Yeah, he's got an actual name. Hold on, I'll pull him up. You can get
gigantic.
name.
Those are really cool, though.
Kragnar,
He is so
just
huge.
whew, looking awesome with the lighting effects and everything. I just love that. It's so cool, man, to be able to be there and see this stuff. Here, this was set up. This was Friday night. So again, G-Con was during the day. Vendors couldn't set up till 6 p.m. on Friday for the show the next morning. I want to say this was sent at 10:28 or so p.m. Pacific. No, sorry, Eastern time. So they started at 6, at 10 something, and in the text when Adam sent it said, like folks are still setting up. Adam's got quite a few Vorgus there. That's his stuff. I'll zoom past that. So let's talk about some of the stuff that was there. And so Meta Travelers, these are just finished their Kickstarter and are now up for sale on Big Bad Toy Store for pre-order. But this is a brand new line, Meta Travelers Legendary, that's actually sculpted and I guess essentially produced by the Four Horsemen in that they're supporting the production thereof, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I don't know who here. Did anybody here go in for some Legendary Meta Travelers?
I thought they looked really cool. Yeah. I was a fan of how cool they looked. Unfortunately, it was just I was already starting to try to pull back from spreading myself so thin. But I do highly recommend these, especially for anybody like, me. I like a lot of stuff that kind of gets based off of where I was with things from the 80s going into the 90s. These to me had that later kind of like mid 90s going into the early 2000s extreme appeal to them. So like if you're a kid from that era, I think these definitely resonate better with that crowd. And they look really neat. And they got pop and swap abilities. So again, we're seeing more of those systems being put into place with multiple lines now, which to me is incredible because I really, really feel that, like honestly, toys need to be shared with people. And, these are great. They really, really look amazing.
Yeah, it's cool to see the artwork. What's that?
Oh, I like that dude's cape.
I know this one,
flowing. Yeah,
that's gonna have bendy wire in it. They say so. Pretty
really
cool. There's a lot of really cool things here. I only actually backed one figure, and then you can kind of choose which one. I don't know that the survey went out yet for you to actually say which one you want. And I'm torn because there's 2 that I want. So I believe you can add them later, but let's move on. Mythic Customs. So that is Jeremy Gerard, and I actually don't know who else is involved. Oh, actually, before that, let me say that those dios that had all the Four Horsemen stuff in the display. Brian Brink was saying that they raffled off all of them at the end, and proceeds went to charity, which is pretty awesome.
That is
agreed, cool. Nolan. For the bear, Nolan wants a John Candy figure to go with it.
Right?
Big bear, chase.
Yeah. That's not a pillow. The bear got nice jaw articulation, just pretty amazing overall.
It's not articulation. That's a whole separate head. So you get one head and then another head. It's not articulation. I do want people to be clear about that.
With the jaw?
Yeah.
It's not jaw articulation.
Okay. So Mythic Customs had this sort of their many like custom tribute figures, right? They did a whole Dungeons and Dragons, as you see down here, sort of riffing on the LJN figures. They did, and I think I come across some other photos later. I think maybe from Dorclair. We'll see if we can get to those. Got Sandman and the Endless up here, which fantastic. Lord of the Rings, including a Balrog up here. And Star Wars and G.I. Joe and some other, like you've got BPRD, the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense, Hellboy, and your Joes. I'm not sure what's going on in the front, but we'll see when we get there. There's a couple more photos, but so here's the G.I. Joe.
Yes.
You got your Major Blood. Who do you think this is? Is this a bat? No.
Snake
What's going on here?
Eyes.
Well, this is Snake Eyes.
Oh
So
yeah,
Storm
no,
Shadow.
that's
is that a Storm Shadow?
would that
Okay.
be? Yeah,
Snake Eyes
okay.
and Storm Shadow.
Okay.
All right, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, he's got like more of the swords and stuff.
You got your Scarlet, you got your Timber from some other line. You got Zartan, very cool
Yep.
as a 2.0 figure, good choice. Destro as a sort of metalhead orc. And Baroness, Sans glasses. Oh, is this? Oh, it's a battle beast. Yeah, it's totally a battle beast.
Okay. Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right. I'm down
There's
for
a couple
more battle
shots.
beasts.
We got that beautiful scene, right, with the snooty
bounty hunter.
Imperial officers sitting down there, like, oh, bounty hunters, we don't need their scum. But you've got these guys, very cool. I love the IG-88. Cool take on 4LOM and and Zuckus. I like 4LOM too, but all the books, the canon books, and the audio, they say 4LOM. But anyways,
yeah.
Got your Dengar.
Dengar, yeah.
Beautiful.
Matter of fact, just before you went live, Skelly was doing his weekly weirdo, and it was all about them bounty hunters.
Oh, nice. You've got the Hobbits. You've got the Lord of the Rings. These are some of my favorite customs that he's done recently, just because they're such a cool take, and some of them just a little bit.
I love that Hobbit.
That Hobbit.
This one
with the feet. Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculously awesome.
I would buy that figure just like that.
And again, a lot of these parts are available for you to buy and make, or you can pay for the customs, which are definitely they're pricey, but they're pricey because this is someone doing hours of work on these one of a kind figures.
So, and behind it you have the Nazgul and stuff, and they're all individual. Like none of those are the same. He was Jeremy Gerard with Mythic Customs was releasing those pictures like week after week, and I was just getting excited each and every week to see what was next.
Yep. Jeremy Gerard. Yep. So again, doing double duty of sort of being Four Horsemen Studios, helping with Legions Con and Mythic Customs, his own stuff. What's going on, Eddie? Thanks for hanging out.
Aragorn and Boromir look amazing too, though.
Yep.
It's just
man.
Love it. And then you've got the Balrog versus Gandalf the Grey.
Shall not pass.
Beautiful. Great job on that troll
wondering
custom.
when we get wings of that scale.
They're
dragon.
Those are just the gargoyles' wings. That's all.
Ooh, any thoughts on what we have here, or is this a just sort of customs? Is this based on anything that folks are familiar with? It's not ringing any bells for me.
No, to me they look just like regular customs, unless somebody who was there can say different. But I know like these are a lot of like custom apps to existing parts kind of thing, like painted up in a particular way, like when you look at the Gladiator here and some additional pieces. And they just look gorgeous. They really are. But this is the kind of stuff you could do with your Legions figures too. And there's a lot of people out there who they make these parts and you can buy them. So like you buy the figures and then you can go ahead and you can buy parts to complement them too. You don't have to just stick with what's already there.
True. This is the Disney shelf. I'm pretty sure all of these signs, these are all D. Blake makes too. Does these awesome signs. You've got the Beauty and the Beast. You've got Mulan. You've got Dr. What's his nuts from the Frog
Princess
one.
and the Frog.
Yeah. Shere Khan? Potentially.
Yeah.
Aladdin. Oh, no, not Shere Khan. Aladdin. Jasmine and
was it Bagheera?
The tiger. Bagheera.
Bagheera?
And I don't know who this is, if this is meant to be
That's probably the genie, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Except he's not blue.
I was going to say quite a lot of liberties if he's not blue.
You've got the Endless.
But he wasn't blue in the live action one, though.
So that's true. That's true.
The inspiration from.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
You've got the Endless, just the family, the whole family is here. It's beautiful, man. Just cool
for those
stuff.
who are familiar with Neil Gaiman and his works, the Endless, that DC Vertigo kind of universe that he created.
Yep.
Everybody knows Sandman and Dream because how popular they were, but you had Delirium, Delight, Desire, Despair, Destruction, and he went ahead and made all of them.
Very cool, man. Jeremy Gerard's a talented dude, but let's check out Eric LeBron, Late Night LeBron Customs. He had a table back in May at the Mythic Meetup, and just so many cool things, but I just couldn't do anything at the time. But just such amazing work. The paints on these are definitely, I would argue, like even more. He's got an almost a different approach to even the standard Legion figures. A lot more detailed, a lot more hyper real with some of the shading and highlights that he does. Really cool things. I wish I could zoom in more. This is, I think, maxing it out, but you sort of see what he's got going on, including some of these fun bits back here, a griffin here, and I don't know that they're posable or what's going on, but just to give you a sense of like, the folks flock, right, and bring their wares, and you get to see the community just shining in terms of like their talents. Here you go. He's asking that's 3. That's not bad for an ogre scale. Anyway, see, this is why I'm glad I didn't go, because one, I would have paid for a flight to Jersey. I would have been so tempted to spend ridiculous amounts of money on stuff, and then they announce on the Friday that here's a 550 all in. Look at that.
And that is awesome.
Yeah. Right? Hey, it's a groundhog.
Moving on. I'm looking at time. I want to get through as much as this as we can. Here's Immortal Collections. Again, just the talented designers and customizers. You've got the painted heads that they're doing. So these are all parts that you can buy from other companies, small companies that are doing them. I've seen that go around. But then you've got these soft goods that I'm pretty sure are made by Immortal. Just really cool stuff. Like,
yes,
that's great for that troll. It really just gives it a whole other look. With this
total Jin look to it. It's nuts. And the creativity that it surrounds this community is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Well, I think the good part of it is that there wasn't much as far as a base offering of barbarians and knights and stuff like that.
Right.
A lot of guys that were doing these kind of customs were starting from a scratch, G.I. Joe figure or Star Wars figure, and then building armor on top of it. This gives you so much more accessibility and ease of doing it. Then you can just take it even that much further than it was.
Yep. I mean, just
you got to get like heads. 2 all-ins now, and just one as a parts bin.
And then when you can find the in-stock sales that they do, like a lot of people will stock up on any like extras during then. And again, if you can get to a meetup or you can get to a convention, second cheapest price you'll ever get when it's direct from the Four Horsemen.
And if you could sell these, and that's why, it's like, if you think about the work that gets put into these, they sell them for $200, $300. And you're just these folks are just gonna end up buying more and making more. So it's going to some, it's going to some cool stuff. And I'm just looking at some of these extra fun, weird sculpts here, sci-fi concepts, and then I'll move on. But just wanted to highlight those Immortal Collections. Oh, here. This is from Dorclair. I wanted to highlight because he had a little bit. Oh no, wait. Actually, no. We're not done. Adam's got a ton more. And thank you, Adam. Again, Adam Highly Articulated. If you're not subscribed to his channel, go check it out on YouTube.
And who could this be?
Yeah, this is Jesse,
Somebody
our
very
fellow
familiar.
co-host on Legion's class that we do over on Oz's channel. Co-teacher, I should say. Just shelve it. And you get some really cool stuff, including this awesome badger that I've been eyeing. And he just was able to show off all this work that he's in this custom AWOC figure that he's worked into this story. He's created characters for them all. What was that, Oz?
A little bit up and further towards the back. You see Jesse's little mascot for his channel is its own figure.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
In his
Jesse
fun three-eyed.
Just amazing and awesome. Like, he is one of the best out there.
This badger is built on a is that built on a Masterverse, right? Masterverse Battlecat, I think.
Yeah,
Battlecat. From what he said, yeah.
Yep. You gotta see, you know, charging 125, 150, super reasonable for these customs, $100. Yeah, great stuff, Jesse. I hope you had a great show. There's Jeremy Gerard again, kind of eyeing people's stuff.
Did he build that dial?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep.
He built that where he works.
In the frame
he
shop.
does a little bit of afterwards, and he did all that work. I remember last year he was building one. I was watching him on a live stream with I believe it's Failed Imagineer, where they were just, you know, one was painting some weapons and the other one was, or Jesse was knocking out his little diorama display from last year, which was very cool. Very, very cool. And this just looks even better.
That little skull or skeleton tail in the cave there is pretty sweet.
Yeah,
addition to it.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
Get those Halloween goodies if they're still at Target or wherever
right.
else. Moving on. Whose is this? This is, I don't know. I don't. This isn't just Jesse's, is it?
No,
like
because he was sharing a table. He was sharing a table, and I believe that's the other guy.
It looks like it was CB May and this I don't know. This name I don't know. Blue D Sculptures looks like. Not familiar myself, but CB Make I am familiar with, and just again some beautiful work. That's just so cool, you know. And like we could look at every little thing, but you know, I'm looking at time.
I think that's what it got me. Those like those little head racks. I go to be like, okay, I need this head and I need this head. And like before I know it, I'd be like, oh, I'm broke. Like, what did I do?
Yeah. Last year Jesse did Woodland Realm, loved it. Well, good to know. Thank you, Brian. Brian, while we started, he sent me a Google Drive to his stuff too, so I'm gonna look through those. And thank you for sharing.
Right. And
Duchess, hello. How's it going?
Good to see you, Duchess. Congrats again on the 1K, by the way.
1,000. That's so awesome. Real quick, giant elephant, dragon. I've loved these, man. I've seen 350. That's not bad. See, again,
right? You start eyeing it up.
Well, it's
we
just
know
sort
the
of like
price, and
because you saw some other figs for like what, like, you know, $100, $200 for smaller figs, and then you've got this giant troll with those wings that took some paint, because I know the originals are just like a kid's costume, and I've seen what they're transformed from. So it's amazing stuff. And some more CB makes down here that I love, because he's got a just a really cool, different aesthetic that I appreciate, and drawing from things that, you know, we're familiar with from the games and stuff. So keeping it going. Let's see how many we can get through. Of course, Emil Wickman, man.
Yeah.
This definitely, as the kids say, one of the GOAT of tributes, just in terms of depth and breadth. You see, like, you've got X-Men, you've got Power Rangers, DC, Mario, we've got Transformers, we've got Battle Beasts, G.I. Joe again, some Thundercats.
He's the one that did that awesome Mandalorian one, isn't he?
he did do a Mandalorian, the one that I showed yesterday.
Mandalorian.
Yes. We've got just really, really cool stuff. Doctor Strange, Punisher. Oh, this one got Jokerized.
Right.
This one right here, man. Samus.
Oh. Like,
some great
again,
stuff.
like you said, tribute king right there.
Mm-hmm. David Williams, man, I'm just his artwork. He's an tattoo artist by trade. Just an amazing illustrator. Oh, I don't know.
Got it handled. Don't worry about it. It's all taken care of.
I was wondering about that.
There's all sorts of little stuff going on here. I don't know if that's a Gentleman Ghost tribute or just some cool looking figure. Just I would have been lost just walking around and staring. Yeah, and obviously, like, none of us can afford all of this stuff. But even just looking at it, just being inspired,
it's mesmerizing. It truly is.
David Williams, like you're alluding to his artwork, and some of it's used in the coloring book, I want to say, or might be just other artists, but you can see his take on these characters are fascinating. And I hope people start getting tattoos of his work, because some of the heads that he had for sale, again, a lot of these parts are like, was it Wolf Den? And I know he had those parts before. I don't know if he has others, but just his paint work on them are so good. I've got a couple here that I picked up from May, and just really quality stuff. Telltale Art is not a name that's familiar to me, but these are. Oodalali.
Yep.
Oodalali.
Yeah,
look at those
that.
Robin Hood ones, man.
Right?
God.
Like the freaking crocodile. Like, come on. This is epic.
Yeah. I didn't see those. We skipped them, but yeah, Jesse had some based on Vox Machina.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
good. And yeah, you've got a point, Brian. Like, there's no PowerCon, so we can't go to Ohio, but maybe we all go to Legion's Con.
There's two places I'm hitting next year. Joe Fest, Legion's Con. Legion's Con didn't happen this year, but guess who went on and quested his days off for next year since they announced them today? I ain't missing out on it twice.
Oh, when is it next year?
9th and 10th, the weekend of the 9th and 10th.
Is that also Veterans Weekend or not? Do you know?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Veterans Day is always celebrated on the 11th.
Okay.
Yep.
So that means I will also have the 3-day weekend, but again, you're spending. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to litigate that again. Here we go. These are all. What is it? Oh, these are Wolf King custom parts behind there.
Right.
But I don't know who the person who made this are. Telltale Art. Not familiar. Nathaniel Armstrong. Well done, sir, and fantastic logo work. That is brilliant. Love it. Disney's Robin Hood. I know
Robin Hood character. That was my favorite Disney cartoon movie.
And this is also Adam who took this photo, highly articulated. One of his favorites for sure. So I know this had a special place for him. Those hippos. This is fantastic, man. This is really well done.
Right.
Those
I had the
elephants.
vinyl from this movie with the rooster singing all those songs all the time. I listened to that thing so much it didn't work anymore.
I only had the 7-inch, the storybook one, not the big one. Yeah, the 12-inch LP.
Yeah.
Look at this, so cool. All right, here we go. Hey, Thanos. Legends of Dragonor were there. I know this is a line that you've been writing hard for.
And look, you could buy them on the table. Get them before Thanos
ordered
does.
them the day they were available. Still haven't got them though, unfortunately.
Wait, you haven't gotten yours yet?
I haven't gotten mine yet. Like, a lot of people have been getting them. I should have just went through Big Bad, I guess, but
Boo.
Yeah, or you could ask somebody to pick them up from the
cardboard cutout and my cardboard castle way before everybody else. So
the early bird.
Yo, Dragonor people, what are they? Is it Formo?
Formo toys, million.
Come on,
he hasn't got them.
Who is it?
Nolan, still waiting on his.
and he's been another one that's been on board since day one.
Come on, man.
Sorry, you should get him soon.
Yeah, but
you will.
I hope they acknowledge and sort of hook up the folks who backed so early. Oh, this stuff is so good. This armor right here, well, the bottom part of this and the head, they swap these two parts. But that armor is so good, baby. And their wave, their new wave stuff is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like these
those cavemen look great. Like I'd probably get a few of those because they have like 3 different heads. So
yeah, the alt heads are really cool. Yeah. Promising line. Just exciting to like again these sort of like to get back to that ecosystem of Masters of the Universe and the sort of Masters of the Universe adjacent in the similar shape and form like we had as kids. Super cool and just great designs. Who is this? Oh, the Trolls Den. Is this the person who does these troll heads? We see those a lot.
Yes.
Perry's Custom Corner. So good. These like smoking trolls are the best. Just
I love them.
You got a Cthulhu troll there. You've got an Oni looking troll. You've got some of these that remind me of the trolls from like the old Gnomes books.
Oh yeah, that one's awesome.
Yeah, an alligator.
The alligator ones get me because I've seen not only them but other creators who do like these alligator style heads. You can see there on the table like a dragon style head and the tails, and it's just like, you know, the troll figures were already impressive enough just from what the Four Horsemen put out, but again, the community and what they put out for them. Like you see a toad head, I've seen whale heads, like they're nuts. They're absolutely nuts.
So I'm gonna start zooming through some of these just because we are hitting up on our time. This was like a whale inspired one if it's kind of hard to read, but I do want to sort of just quickly highlight some of what all of the stuff that Adam showed. I mean, there's so much. Can you imagine being there? But Carver Customs, who does initially started, I remember seeing Carver through both dios that he was doing last year, and then these awesome light up torches and braziers and stuff that you could work into your dio.
World building,
so good. And just again, these are not professional toy makers. These are people who are doing it and just makers, and then for their love of this company's output, Four Horsemen's output, that they're just like, hey, let me try my hand at this. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on this dude's name, but this modular Coliseum that I saw him talk about on a stream, I think it was on maybe Legion's Lounge Road to Legion's Con. Just so good. Fabric pieces
too.
Yep. So good for your horses. Fantastic. If someone knows the name, please. You bought a bunch of yeah.
Very cool. They were popular. Like he sold out last year and he made more for this year. And from what I hear, he's still kind of sold out. Yeah. Because I mean they're in demand for these displays. So big.
Yeah,
well, I think that's the one thing about Mythic Legions that you don't see with a lot of other toy lines is just the level of dios that people are buying and making for their stuff. It's just
yes,
it's like just another part of the toy line,
Absolutely, and I've said this before that like I think there's a huge crossover of the folks who were playing D&D back in the day or doing the minis and then building out like dungeons and taverns, right? For that I think there's that natural crossover of people who are already painting anyways and sort of scaled up. And then I think, I think there's something about the commitment that Four Horsemen have to every single figure in terms of paint and detail that people are just mimicking really. And like it, it makes you want. And I'm so bummed about this dude's name because he did a,
Brian's confirmed it in the chat.
Who is that?
Duarte.
Oh, this is Duarte. That's Brian Almeida. Okay.
Yep.
That's not Brian in the pictures, but yes.
Right.
And just he did this freaking woolly
A
mammoth
mammoth.
from
The Plasticine
scratch.
era there. Come
It's
on.
yeah. So he was the one who was
That is
doing.
gorgeous.
Yeah, there's Aragorn chilling in the corner. Strider
So good.
doing. He did the massive dios in the past that were at Legion's Con that Four Horsemen had in their display. I don't know if he did it this year. There's that woolly mammoth. Let's see if we get to it. All the little parts too that you can get. So he does everything from these giant. Oh, of course, is Brian. That's right. I forgot he did. He's the one who did the chariots and the skull chariots, based on the. Oh,
I did know that because you
great
talked about
stuff.
that Friday, but now
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a
And
long
I got
Well,
to talk to him at PowerCon
remember, I'm
too.
old.
And
It's been a long weekend.
It has been, and it's been a weekend filled with input, man. So my brain needs to be defragged. Cyber Zoic, man. Creative Beast Studios, David Silva with just I know that I hope Adam got to speak with him. I know Adam's trying to get him on his channel to talk about this because Adam ended up going hard into Cyber Zoic. And it was not a planned thing until he sort of saw the lore a little bit more, and you can see like revealing a little bit more of the beasts of the Cenozoic, the mammals going on here. Oh, just fantastic! Like Four Horsemen with their
stuff.
the level of paint and sculpt, and that's what this is, but for prehistoric creatures.
Right. They caught my eye a while back because of the Bionatops tribute box. And me, I'm a Motu guy. So I got drawn in. I was like, wait a minute, who's doing these? And then Brick, you and I were talking about them. Because I was like, did you see these? And you were like, yeah, these guys here. Did you see all this? They got a dragon. And I was like, they got a dragon. And we started looking into it. I'm like, oh man, these things they kill me. Because oh man.
And
they are not
doing
cheap,
all historical animals, or
they're worth it. Well, I mean,
aside from dragons,
they're doing historic and future animals because these are technically future animals from alien worlds, and yes, and they definitely that's David Silva's. David Silva's very much into the latest science from paleontology in terms of, and we'll move, but I love that the way he sort of envisioned the coloring for these. The feathered dinos based on birds that exist today, which I love.
Right. Adam, please send me all of those extra pics, by the way.
Speaking of animals, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, Spiro Studios. This is where Adam spent a lot of his time this weekend with Thane's hammer. Hope you got a picture of yourself with Thane's hammer there.
Right.
I'm not really familiar with this line, so let's go ahead and skip ahead. No.
Don't know much about this line.
I will say this, although I've said that I'm pretty much pulling out of Motu for the most part, except for like a handful of characters that I'm going to worry about left. There's one other company that's drawing me. Well, there's actually two other companies that are drawing me out of just being Four Horsemen exclusive. Spiro Toys, because they're just everything they're doing is, and I say Spiro Toys as I was properly informed last night and then got to see what was talked about today, and I'm sure we're going to touch on that. But
we'll see if we have time, but yeah.
AWOC has completely pulled me in, in just awe of what these figures can do, how they look, the sculpt.
Yeah.
And then of course there's some armies of Ashmore too that are still pulling at me here.
I love that this guy, this guy is like really committed to that pose. Yeah, you hinted at it that they revealed some new things. So this was from earlier in the con before those things were out, but you can kind of see the figures. Oh man. Yeah, I actually didn't order any of this wave, but here you go, some video of what's on the table. It is 5:47. We'll probably just go a couple more minutes. I don't know. Are you guys good to go to? Well, you've got another stream, right, Ed? You've got stream
I got to
work.
pop off in a couple minutes.
Right. Yeah, and I can't stay too long. What was that? But we'll see if we can wrap up here. It's probably a good place to start to tie things down.
We can skip all this AWOC garbage. Nobody wants to talk about AWOC. I mean, none of us are familiar with it.
I love. Oh, this
it's
was
like it won't be covered by Brick soon anyway.
Right.
So.
This was me taking a screenshot and sending that to Adam, saying, "Hey, do I need to get these?" He's like, "Yeah, probably." A quick shot here.
So good.
Yeah, this is like a whole other thing that I definitely want to quickly go over. That apparently Nikki Nicole, one of my favorite customizers that I first learned about because of her amazing Mythic Legions work, custom work. She's now working professionally on action figure lines and has been key for Savage Crucible. It's an amazing line that again is going to like hit, and I'm going to be scrambling for space. But now apparently she's working on this new line called Galactic Valor, and by Foxforge Toys. Just the work on, so we're gonna hear more about them. I haven't actually seen the two other characters, but you can kind of see the sculpt work that's going into the details and the paint work. This is her paint master. So just another thing to look at. Maybe another thing to spend on. I love the sort of like different the long slender body for this alien. So I'll definitely.
Can we just merge all these toy companies together? Because like all this stuff kind of like blends in together, and we could just have one line that we follow. It would be so much easier.
And they say yes, just buy them all and play with them that way. But yeah, just to shout out the team that are on this. So sculpt by Creature Asylum, Rafael Fernandez, soft goods by C. Jessam, so CJ and Caitlin. And the Paint Master prototype by Nikki Nicole Cheney. So that's Foxforge. Look out for it. Let's go back to the main show because I asked him, hey, are these there? And because I'm like, I'm pretty sure based on the carpet, Nikki herself was not there because she's out on the road showing folks Savage Crucible stuff. She was at a different con. I think she was in Detroit, Motor City. But, just to give you a sense of there's things here. I haven't looked at those other reveals yet. And let's zoom through and let's see if we can wrap this up in about 5 minutes. And so these are just, unfortunately going to have to be quick, but you can kind of quickly sort of see great shots of nice illustrations of Wednesday there. People doing like specific, like pieces to do some world building and some, prop work for your stuff. This was there's the coloring book that you all referenced. Yep. Dr. Grimm Customs, just such good stuff everywhere. I'll do a quick zoom in because they deserve it. Like what world is this that we now have access to this stuff and people are doing it? Right, the technology's there for people to print out heads. There's some epic things back here. If you know much about the lore, this giant bear and this giant eagle sort of thing might interest you. This giant demon kind of thing, because there is this notion that each of these factions have sort of deities. Yeah. So get yourself a Conan up here.
Look at the little frogs. I mean, it's just crazy. Von Burke.
Yep. Such cool stuff everywhere. Yeah, and I can't even imagine. So thank you, Adam, for sharing all this stuff. This is Trevor's, who works with the studio as our photographer, but is also, done. So here's this is the side hustles of the people in Four Horsemen. So you got Chris Garch, who also does production management for all of these brands that you're familiar with. There's the Four Horsemen brands. There's Fresh Monkey Fiction, Plunderlings, Big Bad Toy Store and their lines, the Fwoosh,
Ideas from Mars.
I can't believe we haven't even gotten to those. Yeah, Zika. So then you've got 1/6 shooter, just doing some amazing photo work for Four Horsemen. He's got his own calendars that you can find on his Etsy store. Check it out. Hit him up on Instagram too if you don't have those details. And then he shoots for AWOC as well, Spear Row. Oh my God, just the Drunk Gizmo Customs, the Fountain guy, started as the Fountain guy and it's just, you know, upped it with this cool stuff with that clear resin. Hey, perfect use of Sun Wukong and AWOC figs. Eric Miller, just again doing his own versions of homage figures. We saw these last year, but awesome. The Turtles. You've got Marvel. Love that death.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I'm not entirely sure what this is, but it's pretty damn awesome. We got Motu back here, and I think there might be some other shots. I forget. Just some great stuff.
Look at that.
Is this Figment? Is that Figment?
It looks like a Spyro.
Oh, Spyro. Yeah.
Spyro. That isn't that Horse and the Knight from the other the old Dragon video game with the house.
Dragon's Lair.
Yeah.
Dragon's Lair. That was more yellow and but maybe you're right.
Yeah,
the heraldry on the horse.
The herald. Yeah.
There's the Turtles. There's the Marvel. There's the we're not sure, but maybe I don't think it's Dragon's Lair. Honestly, I don't think it's something else. Maybe it's
No.
Sword in the Stone. I don't know. You got your Motu. Look at that. 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 Dude, Adam, thank you so much for all these photos, man. You killed it. And like you could even do your whole show and show folks this stuff. Anything's posable. There is a Papa Smurf back there.
Yeah.
A pretty,
D13 Biblical Adventures.
Pretty beefy Papa Smurf. But.
By Chris Gorich. Doing his own thing, doing biblical
adventures
based, D13 biblical adventures, but like based on Bible and sort of like historic
depictions,
art history stuff from historic depictions of stuff from the Bible.
Right.
The accessories and stuff that he's coming out with is amazing too for that line.
From all across the globe too, not just like the definitive. This is the Catholic Church version.
Yep.
He's doing deep cuts from everywhere.
Yeah, he's got the Orthodox Church, everything, right? A bunch of depictions. CJSM doing their soft goods, just for everything, right? For all
bananas and pajamas.
Not
I hadn't seen those before.
Pajamas. Coming down the stairs.
Yep.
I need to get that bed set. I really need to get that bed set.
You definitely need that bed set, and maybe this little doily, just the apron. I think you might need. All the cool little soft goods things. So
Thanos is
good.
going to make a very Persian style harem. I see in the future here with his little cages and then the little bed set.
The Cabal, man, I wish I knew these were there. I'm going to hit up Walter. I'll drive out to his neck of the woods just to pick up that Slayer Cabal shirt if he still has any. Just, clearly, and I'm going to zoom now because it's time, but I got to pop off. Such amazing work. All right, Ed, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
I'll catch you on a little while.
Thank you for hanging out this weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. See you in a little bit. I'm sure.
Yep. See ya.
See ya. We'll move. Boom. And boom. Or wait, did that work? Did we just discard you? Did it just? No, it didn't. Good enough. All right. Let's see. I said good enough, and then I fix it anyways because that's how I roll. All right. I can't handle it. Yeah, we'll do it here. So Animal Wars of the Kingdom finally got to show off their this wave, the figures that kind of got lost in the shuffle in terms of the marketing circuit, right? With PowerCon, unfortunately, these figures here from this wave were actually being shipped off to the factory for the paint masters, and so they weren't able to bring it to PowerCon, but they did have these figures that you see in the back. So this is our first real look at what Kanji is going to look like, and that answers a lot of my questions in terms of scale. He is taller than I thought. You've got I'm totally blanking, Mala and Mother Mala and Jadu. You've got the Void that we actually got to see them.
Yes.
And this is probably a great place because it is Brick something. And of course, we do know a little bit of something about AWOC. And thank you again to Adam of Highly Articulated, my AWOC homie who we do AWOC talk with. And if you were wondering, I'm fully aware that I'm late on a more recent episode. I am having hard drive issues in editing that I hadn't realized. So that's unfortunately on pause. Basically need to buy a hard drive.
So this is saying Kickstarter in March of 2024, waves 1 and 2. On the tag. Like on the tags below them.
Right. It does say that. So I actually don't, like I said, I don't know about that. So are they saying they have to do these as a Kickstarter to put them out? That's interesting.
That's what it's looking like.
So yeah, I don't really know much about that. This is the pre-order now, but yeah, I guess that's exactly it. They are going to be doing another Kickstarter wave to get these figures out. I guess they're not something that could be funded otherwise, I assume. And I guess, we'll get more info on that or pay attention to just follow Kato's and Inutabi's show. They do the official AWOC podcast. I'm sure they'll have that news shortly. So yeah. All right, folks. I mean, there is just so much, and we didn't even there's actually even more. But once again, I'm going to try my best to come up with the links. The links on this one are going to be a little bit odd because these are all Adam's photos, and they're not like on Instagram or anything. But I'll definitely at least put links to the different vendors. I want to do that because I want folks to know about all these different customizers and so I will do that. I'll work on that now and hopefully have them either tonight or tomorrow. So look out for those. Folks, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let's see if I can get rid of
Adam's
that.
going to explain it during next Monkey Business, he says.
Okay. So that'll be, we'll be doing it live on his channel soon. So we'll be talking through that and appreciate that, Adam, for the clarification. Let's go ahead and close this out properly. This obviously was a very different sort of episode today, and I appreciate you guys for stepping in as the three of the Four Horsemen that handled this today. Any overall thoughts on things that you saw as being the other sad boys that didn't get to go?
I mean, it would have just been nice to look around. All those dials were so cool. All the custom stuff. I would have just been lost on the floor.
Same
for a long time.
So, after having been to PowerCon and getting to meet a lot of these people there and seeing a lot of the community surrounding, because the Four Horsemen, Mythic Legions, they're kind of like the front runners almost when it comes to even PowerCon now, being that they are kind of Motu adjacent and where that con started from. So it was great to kind of see a sampling at that time of kind of what Legion's Con was going to be. And I'm sad because it definitely feels like more of everything that I loved about having gone to PowerCon was exemplified more here at Legion's Con. So again, I'm bummed out that I didn't get to go. However, I will say, it was amazing just seeing all of the stuff that, again, last year I was just getting into this, so I didn't really know everything that I was looking at. Now, knowing more about it and seeing and having gotten to know a lot of even just people through here, again, Curtis and Jesse and everybody, doing shows with them over the last year and get more involved in this community has been great to see it. And other people who have learned about it through what we've all done, who've gotten involved with it more now too, and just seeing that community grow It's phenomenal. And I can't wait until next year when we're all going to be going. Right? That's the plan. It's going to happen.
Maybe. We'll see. New Jersey's far, man. Like that's
Agreed.
I know.
Well, we'll figure that out. We've got a year to plan.
Right.
And figure that out. Like, I'm with Thanos. We got to figure out how we're going to pay for the toys this year.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely like an amazing, there's a lot of great stuff out there, but
I said I wasn't going to do a Kickstarter, but apparently I am, because AWOC.
Yeah.
Totally broke his vow for next year.
There were some commitments made. Oz, you made some big commitments today about your changing collecting habits. Thanos broke some commitments today. So
I knew I was going to last, but it's all right.
We all
Thank
knew
you,
what
Four Horsemen, for your continued toy apocalypse. We're having a blast at the end of the toy world with you. And I want to thank again my co-host Ed, Akxion Figs. I haven't posted the description yet because I was super behind, but I'll put that in there. So follow these folks, subscribe to their channels. Thanos, what's going on next for you?
I just posted a new episode of my Instagram retrospective today. Still in the middle of naughty November, so spicy shots for the rest of the month. An extra spicy shot on Thanksgiving, and then weekly drops of my retrospective on Sundays. So
nice. Hopefully food is involved. So yeah, where can they follow you? Well, no, I'll put it in the chat, but you're on Instagram and then
underscore Thanos Copter. So
cool.
You can find me. Not too hard.
Oz.
Well, now that I've done this, I got to rearrange my speech I've been saying all weekend. So this Thursday, we've got Toy Frenzy on Skelevator's channel, where you can always find me there. We're mostly talking Mo2 stuff all the time, but we do dabble into other conversations on there. But then you can catch myself, as well as more than likely these two fine gentlemen, doing the Clubhouse Hangout next Saturday night, as we all will unbox and kid alt and kick back after a long week of adulting and dealing with the real world. So
yep. Right on. Well, thank you all. Appreciate everybody who comes through and checks out the channel. Every Sunday, 4:30 is normally when we do the news. Today was a little bit different, special. Click like, subscribe, do all those things. And I try my best to sort of do the whole community tab thing where you'll hear about all the stuff that's coming up. So do those things, and we will see you next time. Right on. Thanks, folks. Appreciate you all. Woo woo.